Good afternoon, guys. This is all very exciting, isn't it? It looks like Manchester City are close, allegedly, to signing Omar Marmoush, the Egyptian superstar over in the Bundesliga. Very exciting news. Not news I expected to see today. I've been out this morning with the family, doing all sort of like pregnancy stuff. Nicola had a scan today. It went very well, so I'm in a very good mood. Just got back after fighting some snow, and it looks like City are close to signing potentially a very exciting forward, a guy who can play in multiple positions, can play as a striker across the forward line, and has an awful lot to offer potentially Manchester City. This is very exciting. So if you don't know what's going on here, I'll show you the bit of news that's been breaking around. It's all started steamrolling. So the first thing for me was about 2 days ago. A journalist called Jan Fjortov, let me just go find the tweets, said that he wouldn't go in January, that there was no chance he was going to go in January. That's what Jan Fjortov said. And then he backtracked late last night by saying City want to sign Omar Marmoush this month, but Eintracht Frankfurt said no, as they have their own targets this season. The only chance for City is to give the Bundesliga club an offer they cannot refuse. So essentially, they were... I think that's clearly PR, by the way. He's been told to say that. So he went from never going to go to, oh, well, maybe actually, if it's an offer they can't refuse, he might go in January. That, to me, screamed that there's a potential deal to be had here, that it's all just negotiation, and that actually they're very fine for him to go if good money comes in. Frankfurt do not have tons and tons of money. They cannot turn down an awful lot of money. Don't get my hopes up, Josh, as well, mate. This transfer stuff is getting me excited because... I actually think sometimes a forward, it won't fix the issues that we've got, but it'll solve some. And it sets City like sort of on a roll, if that makes sense, potentially. Give the video a like, by the way. It's very much worth it. I'll go to the breaking news from today. So here we go. According to... There was a couple of hours ago... Where was the news a couple of hours ago? From Sam Wallace at The Telegraph, who said, chief football writer, City are pushing for a January deal for Omar Marmoush, who will cost the club around £50 million. So City want it done this month. Guardiola wants an Erling Haaland alternative. Look, I don't think it's a coincidence as well that after Guardiola came out and very, very obviously singled out Jack Grealish in the press conference yesterday, or the day before, wherever it was, I don't think it's... I don't think it's a coincidence that City are after another forward, another wide player potentially. I think Guardiola wants some killers. He wants an alternative to Haaland. He wants some killers up front. I'm all right, Joshua. I got a sniffly nose, mate. Just tiredness. I feel absolutely fine over myself. So cheers. Just a runny nose because tiredness. Cause I didn't sleep very well last night. If I don't sleep, I get a runny nose. It's just that's how my body processes it. But I feel absolutely fine. I got lots of energy today, other than the tiredness. Also, via the Mail Sport. I don't know who wrote this, Mail Sport. I couldn't tell you. Let me see if I can find it anyway. Is the actual article up? There we go. Here's the article over the Daily Mail. It's from Simon Jones. It says... Man City near transfer agreement for £50 million star who's scored 18 goals in just 24 games despite interest from Liverpool and Arsenal. It says City are progressing towards an agreement with Frankfurt for forward Omar Marmoush. Frankfurt are reluctant sellers, particularly this winter, and have hoped to keep hold of the 25-year-old who scored 18 goals in 24 appearances. He's an Egyptian international, of course. Apparently he's eager for the move. Liverpool and Arsenal have also been following Marmoush but have not followed up their interest, and City are willing to pay £50 million for a player who can play across the front line and behind the striker. City looking to add 2 or 3 signings this window to breathe fresh life into Pep Guardiola's squad, and we've been talking about the 35 million rated Uzbekistan international Abdulkadir Kusanov and also Jumabov K. So Frankfurt have denied it, but it looks like this is going to be happening now. Basically, he's second in the scoring charts in Bundesliga to only Harry Kane, and I love this. If you want to get a little bit of hype, is it a bit laggy for everyone? Sorry if it is. Oh, yeah, it looks like it is a bit laggy. I'm not sure what's causing that. Sorry, Jason. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it is a little bit laggy, but I don't know what's causing that, unfortunately. I can't really restart the internet because it would obviously just stop the stream. So we'll just sort of hope and pull through that it gets better. So he says, with 13 goals and 7 assists in 15 Bundesliga games, Omar Marmoush is the highest rated player in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. That's over on WhoScored.com. So yeah, basically you've got a guy who's currently the highest rated statistic player in the in the European football right now. Essentially, 20 goals and assists in 15 Bundesliga games. And what do you get if you get someone like him? You get a very versatile, very skillful striker. Absolutely, some questions do remain around his long-term suitability, because I'll show you the stats from another time. Look, he's very much only just reached this hot vein of form, as you can see there. See at the bottom there? 13 goals, 15 Bundesliga games, 18 in 24 across all competitions. Last season, I would say his output was good, though. 17 in 41 is still good. If you can get close to 20 goals from your wide players or your forwards, you're very happy with that, especially when you've got Haaland to lean on. We want killers. I was talking to a friend the other day when we used to have, do you remember we used to have a forward line of... You'd have Aguero who'd get 30 goals. You'd have Sterling who'd get 20 goals, 25 goals. You'd have Sane who'd get 15. You'd have Gabriel Jesus who'd get 15, 20. You'd have Mahrez who'd get 15, 20. That used to be City's reality in a season. It was absolutely ridiculous how many players scored so many goals. And we don't have that right now. And this is why Guardiola, in my opinion, wants a killer. He's sick of people who won't take the shot, who won't take the chance. And I think maybe he knows as well that while there are fundamental issues in our defence and off our midfield, that has to be fixed. Guardiola probably knows that we're also wasting chances and that Haaland's tired, and he probably thinks if we're not playing that great defensively, if we at least can score some goals, we might have a chance there. And there's a logic to that, and especially given the fact that we're only one Erling Haaland injury away from a complete and utter disaster. And Marmoush can play as a striker, and he can play out wide, he can play behind the striker, he can play as a 10. He's such a smart footballer, and I like this. There is still questions. Would you start with the rat stuff, by the way? Stop with all the rat stuff. There is still questions about his long-term suitability. He's having his breakout season. But look, Salah was 25 when he joined Liverpool. He had a really good season at Fiorentina and so on. And he hadn't yet exploded into life. And he went up another level at Liverpool. This could be very similar. It's obvious that, to me, the comparisons are a little bit lazy on that because he's Egyptian as well and he's a forward player, blah, blah, blah. But you can't ignore that, the hunger that this guy's clearly got, and the fact that when you watch him as well, it doesn't seem like... When I watched Timo Werner, I felt like he was all pace and good movement, but he was all pace. When I watch Omar Marmoush, I see a much smarter technical player. I see a guy who can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play behind the striker, he can play as a striker. Great technically, really good technically. He loves 1-2s, he loves passing to people, good link-up play. He can run. That guy, he's not lightning quick, but he's fast. He's got good... Do you know the way that De Bruyne is not lightning quick, but he can run? If you know what I mean. He's a really good striker with the ball, and I love a clean strike with the ball. He can put his laces through it. And I watch Grealish, he can't do that. I watch Doku, he can't do that. He can't put the laces through the ball and really strike it. And I think we've been missing that. You know. He knows how to shoot, basically. That's what I'm getting at. And we've got a guy as well, when you watch videos, who will take the risky free kick. He will try and beat a man. He will try and link up with people. I am very, very excited for this potential transfer. I think it's really interesting. I think, to me, it comes at the exact right time for Manchester City. I think 25 years old, the next potential step in his career. Look, I think it's a really, really, really exciting potential bit of news, you know? I think he's a really exciting player. And for me... Look, if we signed him, if we got him, I'd be absolutely buzzing. Is there any more news in the past few minutes? There's always news going on. This, to me, yeah, it's exciting stuff. And look, I like it. And I know he's not the current, absolute 100%, need, if that makes sense. But you want strength. You want goals, you want creativity, you want life, and we've got actually pretty decent forward line. If Haaland stays fit, if Oscar Bob comes back, and Savinho and Doku and so on, look, but you still need more to it. Like City had, once again, they added Mahrez to Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Jesus, Aguero, Sane. That's what you do at the very top. And as Jason just said, sometimes a spark like that can make the whole team better. Patrick reckons he reminds him a bit of Tevez. Look, I'll tell you that. Tevez, by the way, technically was genius, technically, mate. So I know you might say he's better there, but I would argue Tevez was an absolute technical genius. It's one of those things where I like, if we get any of these guys, like, get Marmoush, look, Tevez would be genius, but Marmoush doesn't have to be Tevez. He has to be very useful. He has that same bustling approach to his game. Do not be surprised if Guardiola turns into a brilliant 10/8. Do not be surprised if he does the same with Oscar Bob at some point. He wants technical, smart players who can keep the ball, who can move in space. I think Marmoush is the exact right tier of signing right now. Look, don't get me wrong, I would love a genius, high-end forward who could come in and be a world superstar immediately. Those are very hard, and City don't tend to sign them. They tend to sign people who are just about ready to take the next step. Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, people like that who are just close to becoming actual world superstar geniuses and then do it. That's what City's sweet spot is, in my personal opinion. And I think this is much more realistic. Unfortunately, there's someone like Wirtz or Musiala. I know they're different positions, but they're not that different, actually. And the fact that, Beasley said the City haven't come out and denied it shows that there is something in this. And I do think there is something in this. Josh said with the super chat, thank you so much for the super chat. It's massively appreciated. Josh said, agreed. We've gone from having 4 or 5 who can get 15 goals and assists to just Haaland and Foden. Huge risk if we don't sign anyone when they get injured. Bang on, my friend. Goals win you titles. Goals win you trophies. And you're not going to win trophies without people who can score goals. And Doku can't. Grealish can't. Savinho, I think, will in time get there. But right now, he was young. Oscar Bob, I think in time will get there. But that's only 2 or 3. You want 4 or 5, So you want multiple people who can score goals. You want, and there's no better way to put it than this, you want killers, man. You want killers, people who can actually terrify a team, who will take that half chance and put it into the roof of the net. I watch Liverpool enviously right now. I watch Liverpool, and they've got Gakpo scoring wonder goals, Salah taking every decent chance. You've got people like Jota, you've got people like Diaz. They've got killers who scare teams. And I want that. I want Marmoush out of Man City. I want a guy who can score goals. I want to be moved by his brilliance. You go, copyright that one for you. But that's what I want. I want that level of energy, man. And to me, this could be a real exciting signing. He's going to bring a healthy confidence and a healthy self-belief, and that's what I think he's going to bring. And it's time for it. It's absolutely time for the new blood. It really is. Alvarez went, spend that goddamn Alvarez money on Marmoush, man. It's a Marmoud, a big Marmoud, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to share that as well, mate. I'm going to put Marmoud as good. That's terrible. Terrible pun. Bean said, although this undoubtedly takes minutes off Jack and Doku. I don't really care, mate. I actually don't really care. I thought the Grealish quotes from Guardiola were damning, absolutely damning. And to be honest, I was incredibly frustrated. I felt he'd sort of let himself down a little bit. Let Guardiola down a little bit, sorry. Guardiola was immensely frustrated by Grealish's, what he feels clearly a lack of effort there. So it's one of those things where, I feel like Guardiola's frustrated by certain people not pushing as hard as he could do. Jack Grealish is very much in that boat. Doku, I like Doku, but I still feel like Doku is the exact kind of player who's probably already peaked. Do you know what I mean by that? Doku seems to me like he'll be Jeremy Doku forever. I reckon you can find Doku at 40 years old and he'll still be the exact same player. I could be wrong there. I hope I'm wrong. He's young. But I feel like Doku's a street footballer, and I don't know if he'll ever be more than that. I could be really wrong there, but I just feel he is who he is, and that's how you might stay. Alexis Sanchez is a wonderful comparison, by the way. I would love... Alexis Sanchez, to me, would be a dream, someone like that. He's got a bit of Sanchez about him. He's got a bit of Tevez about him. Pepper's not coached the flair out of Grealish at all. I don't buy that at all. I just don't buy it. Look, we've seen too much magic, in my opinion, from Mahrez, from Sane, from Sterling. We've seen it from Savinho now. And Guardiola coming out and can praise Savinho. No, I think Grealish can't adapt to life at Manchester City. I think Grealish just can't handle life at Man City at the highest level. I think mentally he's got... Sterling's way better. Sterling's way better than Doku. Sterling at his very best was one of the best forwards in world football. So Doku is great at beating people, but I don't think he's great at the next bit, which leaves you a very good winger, but not a world-class winger. And I think City want more than that. And Doku, you either thrive or you survive. It's very simple. And I have got absolutely no problem at all with players having to battle. I don't really care who loses out. I'm very much a firm believer. Whoever's in the team probably deserves to be there usually. I think Guardiola's smart enough to sort of lead on a meritocracy, so to speak. One or two players, of course, will always be his favourite, but they're there for a reason because they work hard and listen to Guardiola. And Doku works hard, by the way. I like Doku. I think Doku's brave, but I don't know just how good he is. I feel like Savinho's a step above him. I feel like Oscar Bob's a step above him. And hopefully Omar Marmoush will be. So what could this bring for Manchester City? Let's sort of bring up a lineup builder. That's not the one I want. Let me bring it up on screen. Like, the potential versatility you could get from Marmoush is very exciting. Like, you could give City so many different options. Do not be surprised if you see him as a 10 every now and then as well. Like, I wouldn't put it past him. What you could see anyway, basically, is this, where he plays as a striker, and then your man... This is my dream, by the way. I'm going to put my dream here. Obviously, Haaland's in it, but imagine this. Oh, imagine that, guys. Oh, that is exciting, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not getting the Sterling hate, by the way. He dropped off, absolutely. He did. But you can't argue that... he was brilliant for a while. But yeah, you could get this basically. You could also see him off Haaland. You get Haaland up here. 1 second. He could play off him. Do not be surprised if we sign two DMs and you see like Marmoush play up here every now and then. We can see him in many different roles. We can see... let me get Foden over here. We can see Marmoush over this side, Savinho back over here. We can see Marmoush playing this side but tucking in. If we sign a fullback that can get really far forward, we can see sort of like this where Marmoush plays in the half space and you get the fullback pushing wide. There's lots of potential options here what we could do, and I really like the variety that it allows Manchester City. I think McAtee does stay this window. Yeah, I actually do, by the way. I do. I think he'll go. If he does go, it'll be at the end of the season where he's decided what's going on. I am very excited for this. I think this is the exact right level of transfer that City need. And I actually think, to be honest, I know it sounds silly because you're thinking about the defenders and you're thinking about midfielders, but I think sometimes signing a striker can be a real positive. Like, the most exciting people in football are strikers and wingers. And I think it could be a massive shot on the arm for Man City. It really could. And I do think City as well will go for... I think they'll go for a defender. Like, there was more links to Kusanov as well. Let me go back to the transfer rumours. Where have they gone? The Kusanov rumours were sort of heating up a little bit. Kusanov apparently has been offered to City with Lens keen to raise 40 million euros. So what is 40 million euros? 40 euros is 33 million. Now, they're not getting 33 million for him. I think what will happen is they'll probably end up agreeing a deal of like 25 plus 10 millions in add-ons. I think it's very obvious that City want Abdike Kusanov. Here, I'm gonna say something that you're all gonna hate here. Do not shoot the messenger. Can you all promise in the chat? Can you promise not to hate me for what I'm about to say? I want you to admit to that, or I won't say it. Can you promise that you won't hate me? And I won't say my theory until you promise not to hate me, and then I will do. Because I do have a theory what might happen in the transfers, and you might not like it. I make no promises, all right then. Yeah, you won't hate. I don't think we'll sign a midfielder. I think this is going to happen. You're going to hate me for this. I'm sorry, guys. I think this is going to happen. I think we're going to sign Kusanov to play maybe in defence. And I think he's going to play Kanji or Stones in midfield. I think he's going to do it. This is what I think is going to happen. I actually really believe that's going to happen. That is my exact same feeling. I think he'll push a Kanji or Stones up the pitch. One of those two. It'll be one of those two. And I think Kusanov is coming in to give some to give some leverage in defence. I can't see past it. I think that's genuinely true. I think they'll sign... I know I'm right. I can feel it in my bones. For what it's worth, if you told a Kanji just to sit back deep and not get forward, I would sort of be okay with that because a Kanji does have the legs. If your Kanji ends up here, I'll get annoyed. But if he just sits deep, it's better than... A Kanji's there better than... It's mad that I've said this already, but I'd rather a Kanji as DM than Kovacic or Gundogan. But I think that's going to happen. I think they'll sign Kusanov. Douglas Luiz on loan, by the way. $1,000,000,000. I would take it. Douglas Luiz on loan with an option to buy for a decent amount, say for 40 million. How about this? Douglas Luiz for 35 with an option to buy for 35, 40 million on loan. He might be poor, but I 100% think Douglas Luiz has got talent in him. And I know he's had a bad time at Juve, but that can happen. Players can have a poor time. Guardiola likes Douglas Luiz, and I think Douglas Luiz is miles better than Kovacic as a 6, miles better than Gundogan as a 6, and miles better than Bernardo Silva as a 6, and Rico Lewis. He is injury prone, but he's currently sat on the bench. An obligation to buy I wouldn't do, but I'd probably do an obligation to pay a certain amount based on a certain amount of appearances or something like that. But I would think Douglas Luiz has got very untapped potential that I can just see coming a light under Guardiola. I think he's the right kind of physicality. He destroyed us with Aston Villa. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I can see something like this. Look, imagine this, right? Imagine we get this. So you've got Josko over here. You've got Ake. Kusanov at right back covering that channel if you can do. I don't know. Then you've got Diaz. You got something like that. Maybe Kusanov can sort of play wide. Vardio can do his midfield, stepping up forward thing again. And then you've got here, I don't know, who would that be? Douglas Luiz. Imagine that, by the way. Then you got De Bruyne maybe or something like that. It's quite fun, isn't it? You know, all of a sudden, it's a bit weird, that formation, but ignore that. But I think there's something in that, potentially. Oscar Bob as well. There's loads of options. All of a sudden, this squad just feels alive, doesn't it? It feels absolutely alive. And that's what I want. So, I'm not saying Douglas Luiz is perfect, but for me as a loan, I think it's a no-brainer. I really do. I think there potentially was something in that. And I do think there is something in City starting the rebuild as now. Look, if Douglas Luiz came to City and did really well, City would find the money for him. So I've got no doubt whatsoever about that. So I think it'd be an awful lot of fun. I like these rumours. I do. I think there's something in this. I think it's. I think City are close to a very good player. I think Kusanov is a really nice potential addition. He's young, he's raw, he's got mistakes to his game, but he's got quality. The Douglas Luiz thing for me, I think would be a good signing, but I honestly think we might not sign a midfielder, and we might play Stones or a Kanji. I don't know if you heard that. That was one of Ruben's toys over there, just talking to me. He sounds like a dinosaur. No, I don't agree at Ian and Moran. Basically, like, I agree. I know what you're saying, Douglas Luiz doesn't feel like a high level, but is Douglas Luiz right now this second, better than any D6 we've got? Yes, by a long way. And if it's just a loan for now until we get the player we want in the summer, I don't know, man. I think it's a good idea. I think Douglas Luiz is look, you got Aston Villa in the top 4 last season, don't forget. He was great, and City had him on the books at one point. I'm not saying he's guaranteed success, but on loan, if we can't get a midfielder, I just don't see why you wouldn't do it, personally. He's always wanted to play for City. Guardiola's always liked him. Guardiola said before that he wanted him to stay. Gundogan was a no-brainer last minute. We haven't signed him yet, mate. But look, I think he's way better. I'm sorry. You think Douglas Luiz isn't better than as a 6 than Gundogan or Kovacic? Kovacic cannot defend to save his life. I actually like Kovacic. But he can't run back towards his own goal, and he doesn't have defensive. Kovacic's biggest problem is that he's really fast with the ball, but slow going backwards. And he's one of those things where he doesn't have any defensive awareness. Kovacic doesn't know when. A bit of good news for you as well. Just saw a bit of rumours that this is not the Man City home kit. I know that's good news as well. I would. Is there some Douglas Luiz rumours going around? I don't know. But that's not the home kit, which is very nice. That's very, very nice news there, because I don't like that kit either, in the slightest. So I'll take that. Though I do know it's got a sash on. I'm pretty certain it's got a sash on. But yeah, Kovacic's good going forward, but not too much defensively. I agree. Gamer, Nemi. I think he's a smart player, but he needs a 6 alongside him. Douglas Luiz can play a 6, and he has played there. Overall, though, look, I'm very excited by this news. I think it's really encouraging. Marmoush could be an electric shot in the arm for Manchester City Football Club, and I like it, man. I really genuinely do. I think it's one of those things where if he comes in, I think he'll give City a bit of energy. I think he'll give him a bit of life. I think he'll give Haaland a bit of a rest. I think he'll link up really well with everyone. I think he's creative, he's smart, he works hard, and I think he's hungry. And hunger, like I am right now, I'm starving actually, to be fair. Hunger is everything in football. It just is. That's what gives you that edge. And he's the right age. He's got so much time to grow. I like the size between 23 to 26, 27. It's a nice age. Probably 23 to 26 is the hot spot in my opinion, because at that point they're already established in European football. Ruben's toy. Well, stop talking over there. It's driving me mad. Can you guys hear that? Sounds like Owen Wilson. He's got a toy. It's a dinosaur. He goes, wow, wow. Shut up, Ruben's toy. Anyway, guys, I'm probably going to leave it there. I think this is all very exciting stuff. I'm going to leave it there. Fingers crossed we can get him. Marmoush could be brilliant, and I'm sure I'll be live again if anything more news breaks. For now, in a bit, come on, you Blues. Let's sign Marmoush. My mood is good, guys.